What is up, YouTube? This is your boy Big Will G88 here, back another video live today. This is WWE Chat Season Part 2. I did WWE Chats once already, and I got like tons of views. I thank you so much, subscribers, for that. So I want to get into a few things of WWE Chats 2, actually. Chats 2 here. Uh, First time I did WWE Chats video, I started talking about Limmer and everything else, and a bunch of other things, and just in general. And that was a pretty good topic. That was a pretty good topic that I had good ideas, good chats, good, feedback from that. And I got some really good views. I'm happy with that. The one thing, what I want to get to now, there's a lot of, not question, no doubt, but the one thing that got me is, the whole thing with Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey and Charlotte and all that stuff. It comes down to basically, everybody's got an ego with this. And everybody wants to become champ. Everybody wants to get revenge on everybody else because everybody screwed somebody over in a match or all that stuff, which we've seen. It's kind of crazy to me that, you see all these crazy matches that they've done. You see all these rivalries and you see all these crazy matches and you see all this stuff that comes together. I'm not surprised that, you're putting a WrestleMania match on the line against Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. And if Becky Lynch wins, it comes on a triple threat match for the title. And if it does become a triple threat, it's just Charlotte Flair versus Rousey for the title, no matter what, and Becky Lynch is out. So I'm hoping tonight that Becky Lynch wins and it becomes a triple threat match. I think it'd be pretty cool to see that kind of match become together because a friend of mine who's a wrestling fan as well said basically it could be possibly a triple threat match. And like in my mind, I think he was right. He had the right opinion about okay, if it becomes a triple threat match, the odds of Ronda Rousey gaining the title is probably like maybe 76%, maybe 80% chance of her regaining. If that, the odds probably could be in her. The odds are probably not in much not in her favor, maybe in her favor. But if it got triple threat match against Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, then yeah, you kind of look at the odds a different way. But either way, you're still looking at a difficult match to contend with at WrestleMania here. If it comes true, it's like a triple threat match is always the odds against a champion because a champion has a 10% chance or 20% chance maybe regain the title if that. And you look at that, it's like okay, that could be a real top challenge for her because she's got to defend against two former champions who were in that one right, from SmackDown. And you look and for more Monday Night Raw as well because Charlotte Flair is a former Raw Women's Champion, former SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch is the former SmackDown Women's Champion. So you look at that like the odds could be any of them, any of those favorites, And I think if Becky Lynch wins, I think it's a good chance that she could be a triple threat match. With her injury she's walking into with her knee, and she got beaten up last Monday, and a little bit on Tuesday. It's like that draws concern for the man because you look at that and the man's leg injury that she has. You really draws concern like can Becky Lynch his knee hold up in the match tonight, and if her knee's good, well, it won't be good 100%, but she's like half percent good, that it would affect her in the match tonight against Charlotte Flair because she did beat her at the Rumble with one busted with one bad knee, with one bad leg going on, but still the odds of that drawing a concern for her and to make it to WrestleMania because it'll went crazy after all that crap. So I'm thinking that it could be a triple threat match for WrestleMania, but who knows what the condition of her knee is going to be and how it's going to affect the match because Charlotte Flair can attack that knee multiple times and then it can really mess her up and shit. It would really mess with her knee, and it really would affect it completely. That would really destroy her. And people worry about that because you really want to you're wrestling a match, and they attack your knee multiple times, and you have a chance of either fighting through the pain or you get submitted and you tap out, you're done. But most matches you can survive that. You can survive that, continue fighting, but they'll still attack your knee, and you'll still be screwed. You have a really odd chance of her putting you in a figure eight and making you tap because that could really affect your knee and it could really, she would lose. So that's kind of what Charlotte Flair probably go for, attack the knee, go for that, submit her, and get it done. But I think Becky Lynch can go after her and get her, beat down a little bit and maybe, she had a better shot win the match here and go on the WrestleMania. So, I mean, the odds are kind of in a little bit of both, a little bit of, Charlotte Flair's and Becky Lynch's favor here, but see how it goes. Hold on. Now, the match I was looking forward to the most was Kofi Kingston versus Danny Bryan for the WWE Championship belt, but since Vince changed it and Kingston lost his opportunity again, that kind of sets the bar for, like, Kevin Owens here because Kevin Owens started getting the championship, but Kevin Owens was never around because due to an injury, and he came back, last Tuesday, and and just Tuesday after that, and came back and said, okay, he's back. He wants to fight Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship belt, you know, and become champion and whatnot. And if Kevin Owens wins, I think Kofi Kingston should get a shot at WrestleMania against Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship belt because it's 11 years of Kingston's career going to shit here and going down the drain because I think Kingston deserves to be WWE champion in his own right. He's former United States champion, former tag team, former Continental champion in his own right, which is good. But I think Kingston deserves to be WWE champion because Kingston has worked his ass off for 11 years in his career, and then gets his leg kicked, underneath him, and he's not longer in the match. So that kind of draws a little bit of line, like, okay, Kingston gonna be at Fastlane, is he gonna go after Owens and cost him the championship belt? Is he gonna go after Bryan? I mean, what's Kingston's thoughts here? What's he gonna do? And I don't think Kingston's gonna be that kind of type of guy, like, oh, he's gonna go out there, cost Kevin Owens a match, and then face Bryan at WrestleMania. But I think that Kingston's gonna be fine, be in his best behavior, not screw anything up for the match, because I think that's something that you don't really want affected, because you know you did well tagging when Kevin Owens left the Tuesday before, and then you're fine, but 11 years of going to the drain here, Kingston getting a title opportunity here, and then Kevin Owens comes and gets a title opportunity handed to him. It's like, you know, come on. It's like ridiculous, but I really hope tonight that Kevin Owens beats Daniel Bryan or Bryan beats Kevin Owens. Either way, I'd rather see a new championship come together because Bryan being champion now with the title that he has, it's like, it's a joke because the title that we originally had was great, and that's the one that AJ Styles originally held, and that was a cool title. That was not some crappy ass title that they put together. It was a real good title, and you know, compared to Bryan's title, it's like a joke because that's just representing him and him only, not representing the company itself. We got the logo on there, but not the title that I want to look at. I have a replica of an old world title that Taker had back then, and that's a good title. That's a title that you want representing the company, not some fake ass, some together fake ass title that they had. You want something that's representing the company in general, and you don't want some fake ass vegan ass title that's gonna represent, Daniel Bryan in the company. You don't want that. We want a real leather ass gold plated title that's really cool. We want that. We want that kind of title back, and I think that's what we need. We don't need the title that Daniel Bryan has because that's just a joke. We really don't want that kind of title representing the company. We want something that represents what we are and how people respond to it, and all that. So I look forward to that match tonight as well. The next match is the tag team match. The Usos versus the best tag team in the world, Miz and Shane McMahon. At first I was kind of against Shane and Miz because you look at the tag team that just got formed a few months back at SmackDown. Miz begging Shane to become tag team, tag team with him and become tag team champions and all that. And then they went at the Rumble, that's the bar, and then they got defended at, and lost again. He lost it to Chamber, and then now you gotta go get a shot at Fastlane. It's like, they're good people, they're good wrestlers, Shane and Miz, but the Usos have more experience and more for tag team. They know the strategy really well. And the 6-time tag team champions. You really want to mess with that. And I think if the Usos win, then I have mad respect for them. I like them as a team. They're really good, but I don't think Miz and Shane have a shot at getting the title getting titles back because it's a formally new team. It's not teams been around for a long period of time and they've for a long time they have experience, but they don't. You know, it's just not a team I have confidence in. It's just the lack of it, really. I mean, I got nothing against Miz and Shane, but I'm would go more for the Usos than anything. I mean, if like I said, if Shane and Miz can beat the Usos, then I give mad respect to that. That proves that they're a pretty decent tag team. But when you're forming newly from tag team, and you only been like matches, and it's the third match for the titles here, and getting them back, it's like the odds are kind of against them a little bit. But if they can pull it off, all bets are on for that. But I don't know if that's possible. I think the Usos have more experience in the tag team division because they've done it for a long time, and I think the Usos would take over the Miz and Shane like that, just dominate them and beat them up and win and gain the titles. For that again. And I would go for more for that than ever, easily. And then you got the Raw triple threat tag team match for Raw tag team titles. You got the Revival, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode versus Aleister Black and Ricochet, the Raw tag team titles, and I think that Ricochet and Alpha Becca become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Besides the other two teams, I mean, the other teams have been champions and they've done all that stuff. It's like you want to see a new team become tag team champions in the company the way it should be, and I go for that more than anything. I'm nothing against Glorious team with a rival, but Asa Black and Ricochet, deserve to be champions in their own because they got secured the first match on Monday night against the Revival for the titles, and then Chad Gable and Bobby Roode come out and destroy it. It's like you gotta be kidding with that shit. That's like a joke, but I'm glad. I'm really glad that it's gonna be a triple threat match tonight. Get to watch that later on. They come home, so all good with that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to these good matches. So it's a good card tonight. Good couple matches. It's a road to WrestleMania and all that stuff. Oh, then you got sorry, then another match. You got the Shield against Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin, and the Ambrose, Reigns and Seth Rollins. Because since the Ambrose is not renewing his contract next year, so he's done. This is the last time she'll be together, and whatever Ambrose has to do, if he comes back or doesn't, I mean, who knows what Ambrose is gonna do. So I look forward to that match as well. I mean, it's a good card of match. It's a good couple cards and matches tonight. So I look forward to it all being really, really good and see how it all ends out to WrestleMania. And then what comes in there? Then you got tomorrow night, Monday night, with Batista coming back and Triple H talking to him about what happened with Flair, and I think he's gonna beat his ass at WrestleMania. I think it's gonna be a match there. I mean, some good matches that could possibly happen at WrestleMania this year, and we already know one match, Lesnar and Rollins, and everybody knows my prediction on that, so it's not even point to talk about it. But I think that with all these matches, the Fastlane, then when WrestleMania comes around, it's gonna be pretty cool to see all these cool matches come together and see how it affects what the outcome of it all is going to be after Fastlane. Then roll to WrestleMania now, and WrestleMania is going to be pretty crazy. Some crazy stuff happening. Hopefully, so it's going to be really intense to see what everybody can bring to the table tonight and prove that everybody's WrestleMania worthy. The Usos and Ronda Rousey and all these teams together, that it could be one half of freaking WrestleMania, and we hope that's going to be good, and I think it always will be good because it always is, and I have no doubt in it at all. So I never do with any of these matches. So it depends on what it is. I mean, it depends what kind of good matches they can come up with and what's going to be and what the outcome of all it's going to be tonight. And then tomorrow, then World's WrestleMania after that comes together. So we'll see how that all plays out in general. Yeah, I look forward to 100%. I've been a fan for such a long period of time, and so I look forward to all this cool stuff and to see how the effects of it all plays out now and what WrestleMania is going to be and how it's going to become and all that stuff. And then you look back at all the years of all these amazing stuff that they've done, and it's like it's come to like this is gonna be some awesome stuff, and even with all the film and everything else, it's some good stuff this year. So of course NXT is gonna do their thing. On usually they do like a big match before WrestleMania, like on Saturdays and stuff, and that's usually a pretty good card of matches. I'll watch that as well. NXT and NXT UK are really good brands now, and that stuff is kicking off really well this year, and I'm glad they're doing all that. So I mean, it's a good year for WWE. It's good stuff. It's really good outcome to WWE and how they progress over the years and what's progressed in the future now, and how things are changing and what things are, and all these new rules and all this new stuff that they've come back to. And I think that it's a good idea because look at the past, it's been crazy and hectic and awesome and great, but everything that's become now, it's gonna be pretty good. You don't know, what WrestleMania holds, what matches are going to happen, who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. If anybody does show up, it'd be a real surprise to us or shocker. We don't know. Again, it would be nice to see CM Punk come back and fight, but I don't think it's going to happen. People will be amazed who shows up at WrestleMania, who comes to WrestleMania, who wants to be there, and what the outcome of it all is, and then all that stuff. And then when I was watching Survivor Series last year, 2018, and there was a clip on YouTube of Enzo Amore, and to see Enzo back in the light a little bit, it's like, wow, that's a shock because no one's seen him since because he, did whatever he did and he's gone. So it's a surprise to see him. Nobody talks about Enzo that much or Big Cass. You don't see too much talk of Big Cass or Enzo Amore anymore. We don't really talk about those guys at all. It's not much to say. You know, Cass is doing his thing on indie circuit or whatever he's wrestling, and Enzo's doing his own thing, doing music and stuff. And there's a YouTube video of Enzo doing his music thing, and then Cass doing his thing, wrestling and all that stuff. So, which is good. But look at this, not much talk about them, not much. Uh, I know in WWE, nobody really talks about it too much. I know they don't really mention it, nobody really bring it up too much. But to see Enzo at Survivor Series last year was like a bit of a shock. Like, oh crap, he's around then. I mean, they was talk about him coming back to WWE to wrestle again. I don't know when that's going to be confirmed or if it is or isn't. I mean, it's just something I found on the internet. Uh, not much else but anybody else, but to hear about that, it's like, okay, that's a little bit of a surprise. Because no one was very surprised to see Enzo back because after what he did, it's like you don't see too much of it anymore. And again, a lot of wrestlers that used to be there, either doing TNA or doing something else. And Rick Swan's doing actually TNA now. He's a former cruiserweight doing WWE, but he went to NXT for something that he did, I guess. So he's back at TNA now, and whatever. I mean, TNA, like I said, I've seen TNA before, back then when all the good guys were there, Kurt Angle, Styles, Sting, Joe, all this good stuff, and that was good then. Now, look at TNA, it's just like, what the fuck happened to it? It's like, it became a whole different show. It's still a joke, but again, you still have some good wrestlers on there, like Tommy Dreamer and whatever ones I still know that still exist. TNA's not what it used to be, and the fan base is really not that great. It's kind of bad. I mean, it's not a huge fan base. They don't do major events like WrestleMania or Survivor Series or any of that stuff. It's different from WWE because WWE is pretty much a bigger fan base now than NXT ever was, than TNA ever was. I mean, you had all these brands back then, like ECW, SmackDown, Raw, and all this stuff, and then you got the cruiserweight division. You got Monday Night Raw, you got NXT, and all the good, and NXT UK. I mean, these are bigger brands that are taking over the universe. And I think, to be honest, I think, you know, NXT and TNA should just be shut down for good and let everybody from NXT, TNA to come over to freaking SmackDown or Raw or NXT and just get experience in that because to me it makes sense to have these guys come from TNA now and give us bring them over and said, sure, screw TNA, let them rebrand or get rid of it in general, just rename it. Because TNA it's bad now. It's not as good as it used to be. The fan base is kind of horrible. It's not that great. You don't hear a lot of cheers. You don't see a lot of that. You don't see much of it at all. And like I looked at YouTube and I can never get into it. It's just like I watch it for maybe a second, 2 seconds. I'm like, I'm done with this because it's trash. It's not what it used to be at all. I mean, all the good guys are pretty much with us now on Raw and SmackDown and TNA and NXT. I mean, look at TNA. It's just like nobody knows any of these wrestlers or divas. You know some of them, but not all of them because it's all new faces and stuff. It's like I think that's the lowest place you could possibly go is TNA because that pretty much kills what it is now, the business of what it's become, and it's not good anymore. It's a crap show. It's like, all right, this crap because I don't want to see this crap anymore. I want something better because it's not better. It's not what TNA used to be back then. TNA back then was really good, really freaking awesome. Had some really awesome pay per views, and then it died. TNA died with the brands that they had, and the brands that they had back then were really freaking awesome. And it was some good crap. I mean, some awesome matches, awesome rivalries, awesome stuff. I mean, it was cool back then, and now it's just a sad excuse for a wrestling show because TNA it's a joke. It's not what it used to be. It's not good anymore. You barely know any of the wrestlers, like a couple few that's still there. It's just like, why the hell would anybody want to go to TNA now and discover themselves like, okay, you're gonna wrestle on a brand that not much hype. You don't hear too much about it. It's not popular. Some fan base it is. It's like that's a joke of a brand to be a part of now and forever because I want to be a fan of TNA that has no good wrestlers, not many good people there, and all the good ones are with us now on the other brands. And you think about that like, okay, why would I watch this crap over watch Monday Night SmackDown and NXT and 205 Live? If that, then watch TNA because TNA is just a joke. You don't hear much about TNA. No one ever talks about it because it's not the most popular brand out there. It's a joke of a brand. It's a joke of wrestling. Like, and I respect anybody who wrestles on that show, but I would never watch it. I would never be a fan of it. I mean, back then I was, but now it's just like, fuck that. It's just not a good. It's not good. It's not what TNA